Hello and welcome. I am Excellent and this is my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about Mount Nyangani. It's located in the mountains in Zimbabwe and it's known to swallow people. Before we get started, if you would please give this video a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed and you would like to be, please do so and click that bell to make sure that you're notified when my content goes up. All right, let's start talking about this mysterious mountain. There is a long-held belief by the local Minyaka people that a vindictive spiritual presence resides on Mount Nyangani in Zimbabwe. Local folklore says the mountain is a sacred place, long feared by its people, and should only be approached with caution. It is located within the breathtakingly scenic forests of the Nyanga National Park in the Eastern Highlands in South Africa. Its perpetually mist-covered peaks give it an imposing and mysterious appearance. Several fatalities have occurred on this mountain when visitors have lost their way and fallen down ravines or cliffs, or when a mysterious fog appears out of nowhere. Hikers have disappeared without a trace over many decades. The weather is said to have a malevolent mind of its own on the mountain, with gusts of wind striking at the most inopportune times. There are numerous reports of visitors becoming dazed, confused, disoriented, and all for no apparent reason. Locals say that when you come across a strange, colorful snake, a smoldering clay pot with no fire, or a brick of gold, it's best to pretend that you have not seen anything and move on. For this reason, visitors to the mountain are encouraged to seek permission from elders living around the area before they venture onto it. A senior government official tells a story of how in the early 1980s he once got, quote, lost for nearly 4 days when he was a young man. But when he was eventually found, it was as if he had been missing for only a few hours. He said he was not hungry, nor did he show any signs of fatigue or dehydration. Like Mount Shasta or Crater Lake in the United States, Mount Nyangani seems to be the place of mystery that can catch out the unprepared visitor. Mount Nyangani is the highest mountain in Zimbabwe at 8,504 feet high, and it is located within the Nyanga National Park. The mountain vegetation is largely composed of heathland around the summit plateau, with an evergreen forest along the wetter eastern side and grasslands to the western side. Annual rainfall totals are high, but there are long spells of dry weather that occur during the winter period of May to August. Due to its relatively low altitude and tropical location, snow falls very rarely on this mountain, and it was last seen in August of 1935. For someone of average fitness, it takes about 3 hours to hike the 3.5 miles from the nearby car park to the summit. Hiking can become extremely hazardous due to very fast weather changes from bright and sunny to foggy and cloudy within minutes. Experienced tour guides advise visitors to not climb the mountain after midday, as afternoon mists can quickly lead hikers in the wrong direction, and they may never be seen again. Elders in local villages say that visitors should never wear red clothing when they visit Mount Nyangani, as this is said to greatly upset the spirits. For the same reason, locals also advise hikers that they should refrain from relieving themselves on the mountain, avoiding profanity, and abstaining from any sort of sexual activity. 2 young daughters of a former Zimbabwean government official disappeared on Mount Nyangani in 1981. Despite a huge search using ground teams and helicopters, they were never found. Nothing belonging to them was ever collected. It was as if they'd never been there. In 1986, an 8-year-old visitor on a school trip, who was named Robert Ackhurst, vanished on the mountain. He wandered off from the rest of the group on a school field trip, and he has never been seen again. Robert's teacher was reported to be so upset that he had lost a child under his care that he unalived himself the following year. Shingire Matsuura left home on April 10th, 2020. He was 35 years old. He went with his 8-year-old twin sons, Tanetswa and Tende, and his 7-year-old nephew called Anasu. They had gone to Mount Nyangani to recover some lost cattle. The boys had accompanied their father, but lost their way after heavy rains suddenly hit the mountain. In the morning, Shingare made it back to the village, and his wife informed the other villagers that her sons and their cousin had not returned home. A search party was dispatched to comb the mountain. The villagers managed to find the group, the 3 boys, but they were all unconscious and they suffered from hypothermia. They were immediately taken to the district hospital, but Tenatswa was pronounced dead on admission, while his twin brother died at around 6 a.m. on April 10th. Only the father and the nephew survived the ordeal. After the incident, the father was quoted as saying, "While we were on the mountain, there was a hailstorm, and we tried to go down, but we couldn't go far because it suddenly became so misty, and we could not see anything. So we waited for the mist to clear so that we could go back home. We could not move until the next morning, but by then the children could not walk due to the cold. So I had to go and look for help, leaving them there, since I could not carry them down on my own." On January 4th, 2014, Zaid Data, who was 31 years old, took his wife and another couple, and they tried to climb the mountain. But when they got halfway up, the women and the other men gave up, while he went on by himself. He disappeared. Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority spokesman was quoted as saying, "More than 60 people, including rangers and relatives of the missing tourists, were involved in the search. The helicopter that was dispatched to assist the search was forced to land because of high winds. Data's friends came from as far as Australia, South Africa, Botswana, and the United Kingdom to assist in the search for him. The local Indian community and a helicopter were hired to assist in the search." According to park officials, Zaid was spotted by other hikers who were on their way down while walking along a stream on the mountain, and he was never seen again. They talked to him, and he indicated that he was fine, and that was the last time that anyone saw him. A second-year human science student called Thomas Gayford chose to come to Zimbabwe after winning the Wallace Watson Award, which encourages and assists students to undertake expeditions or travels of a challenging nature in a mountainous or remote area. Gayford then decided he was going to climb to the summit of the mountain as part of the award's objective to gain a greater ability and self-confidence in handling physical and mental adversity and a better appreciation of other cultures and ways of life. He encountered heavy fog on his hike down from the summit from around 3 p.m., and then he lost his way down the mountain. So he set up a camp and pitched his tent. Then the area was hit with heavy rain, and while he tried to sleep, wild animals wandered around his camp. Thomas quoted as saying, "I had heard lots of strange stories about the mountain, but I never believed them. I climbed to the summit of the mountain. It was very difficult, but I endured up to the top. I was caught in a mist as soon as I reached there. I started getting uncomfortable and scared after the heavy rain started falling. The fog suddenly engulfed the whole place I was in, and surprisingly, it was in the afternoon at around 3 p.m., and I could not see anything. I was confused. I lost my way down, and I pitched a tent. I prayed and slept there for about 10 hours. Several scary snakes approached me. I never disturbed them. They came in numbers, but I stood still. Various animals frequented the place, and I could see shining red eyes of several animals staring at me. My character was tested, and I remained steadfast. I woke up the following morning after the fog had cleared. I climbed down before I proceeded to Leopard Rock on foot. Gayford said that before he climbed up the mountain, villagers in the surrounding areas had warned him against the idea, since Zaid Data had disappeared after embarking on a similar hike. Concerned villagers had also advised him about the other strange and unusual things that take place and have taken place in the past. Tom is quoted as saying, "I tried to put that past mysteries in the back of my mind. I never consulted traditional leaders before I embarked on the expedition, but I later realized that I should have done that. I am happy to be alive. There is more to experience. I have learned a lot about Zimbabwe and about myself." So, what do you think of this mountain that swallows people? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for coming to my channel, and good night.